Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and over on the right is the parking lot to Sandstone Falls. What I'm doing is going to show you just up the road, and I'm going to turn around. This is a bumpy, gravel road. It's had its fair share of wear and tear. But up the road, just a little ways on the left, is a road called Irish Mountain Road. And I want to talk to you a little bit about it because I've been stuck on that mountain road before. It is a great, basically country road of West Virginia. It's gravel, and sometimes it has some pretty deep switchbacks as you're climbing the mountain on that road. But it is a neat road, and if you have a four-wheel drive, I highly suggest taking it sometime. It will take you out into Shady Springs, West Virginia, which of course is still in Raleigh County. We're in Raleigh County right now, even though we're still so close to Hinton. But the road is just up here on the left. You can see I'm going to turn right there, turn around at the bottom of it. But it's Irish Mountain Road, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it. Maybe one day if I have the right vehicle, I'll do a drive up that road. But I've done it before in a car and got stuck many years ago. So there's a church up there, or there was a church up there, and it's called the St. Coleman Catholic Church. It was a cute little church with a cute little cemetery just on the side of the road. And basically, the Irish Mountain Road goes to Sullivan's Knob. And the reason why it's called Sullivan's Knob is Maurice Sullivan was the first settler of the area. He bought over 400 acres of land from the Gwynn family in the 1850s. And then that following year, the Quinlan family moved to the area. And it ended up becoming an Irish farm settlement. And that is why it's called the Irish Mountain Road. The community was largely Roman Catholic faith, and church services were held in private homes, and they were provided once a month by a traveling preacher from St. Patrick's in Hinton. So the community pushed for a church, and in 1876, Sullivan deeded over an acre of land to Bishop Joseph J. Kane for use as a church in the cemetery. Unfortunately, the cemetery was used before the church because someone had died. John Quinlan had died before the church was built. But anyway, the church was built the following year and consisted of a log structure. The cemetery has a little section or a little corner of the cemetery called the Lost Souls, and that was for unbaptized babies. The name St. Coleman derives from the Gaelic saint, and the church became known as the Little Catholic Church on Irish Mountain. The church never did gain its own preacher and continued to receive services through St. Patrick's in Hinton. In 1928, the church was refurbished, clapboard painted white, and was erected over some of the old logs. In 1983, it became a registered historical site. Now, I'm reading this from Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, because that area has known to have a mist at times. There was people that have felt that it had to be a little bit haunted. There was cold mists and cold spots found on that mountain, especially near the cemetery, and visitors to that area would feel it often. But unfortunately, as I said, the church is no longer there. Unfortunately, it burned down in 2022, in fact, due to arson. And the two people that were charged with the arson, I believe, are getting 10 years in prison for it. And they were just partying up there. But I wanted to go on and mention that while I was in the area and up that road. Now, as you could tell, I'm leaving Sandstone area now, and I've been heading out the road. I've pulled off onto the left so you could see a couple pictures that I took of the new river near Sandstone Falls. But I'm just basically driving out River Road and heading back to Hinton. I found this article written about the wreck on the C&O, and it was October 23rd, 1890 at 5:40 a.m., a C&O train had wrecked by a landslide near Hinton, killing an engineer named George Alley and badly injuring fireman Lewis Withrow. Alley was a native of Alderson and White Sulphur Springs, but was living in Clifton Forge area of Virginia at the time. Now, due to this article or what the events happened with the wreck of the train and the person who died, there was a song that was written. And the ballad was probably written by an engineer who worked in the Hinton Roadhouse or Roundhouse. I'm sorry about that. And several versions of the song have been recorded in different parts of West Virginia. The one that I'm going to be reading you today is sung by Miss Maud Rux of Braxton County, West Virginia of 1915. So I'm not singing it, but I am going to read it to you. Along came the FFV, the fastest on the line, running over the C&O road a quarter behind time. As she passed the school, 'twas quarters on line, waiting to get orders at Hinton, late behind time. When she got to Hinton, the engineer was there. George Alley was his name, with bright and golden hair. Jack Dickerson, a faithful man, was standing by the side, waiting to get orders, both in the cab did ride. Georgie's mother came to him with a bucket on her arm, gave him a letter, and said, "My boy, be careful how you run, for many a man has lost his life in trying to make lost time, but if you run your engine right, you'll seldom be behind." Georgie said, "Dear mother, to your warning I'll take heed. I know my engine is all right. I know that she will speed. But if I had a local train, the truth to you I'd tell. I'd run her into Clifton Forge or drop her into hell." Georgie said, "Now listen, Jack, it must be known to all. I'm going to blow for the Big Bend tunnel. They'll surely hear my call." Then he cried, "Oh, look, look, Jack, a rock ahead I see. I know that death is waiting there to grab both you and me. So from the cab, Jack, you must fly, your darling life to save. I'm in my grave." "No, no, George, I cannot go. On that we can't agree." "Yes, yes, Jack, you must. I'll die for you and me." Oh, from the cab poor Jack did fly. The river, it was high. Farewell, he kissed the hand of George. Old number 4 flew by. Up the road she darted, just like an angry bull. To get her back in action, the lever he did pull. Against the rock the engine crashed, and upside down she lay. The best engineer on the C&O road went to his grave that day. Brave and strong he held his grip. At last she made the crash, knocked poor George upon his face, and his tender breast did smash. The firebox fell against his head, and burning flames rolled out. He said, "I'm glad I was born an engineer to die on the C&O road." Georgie's mother came again, with sorrow did she sigh, when she looked upon her darling boy and knew that he must die. She prayed for every engineer to take warning from her son. It's making any schedule to be careful how they run. The doctor said, "Now, Georgie, my darling, be still. Your life may be saved, if it be God's precious will." "No, no, Doc, I want to die. I'm ready now to go. I said I would die on my engine, number 134. That's it. That's all of the song there. Of course, I wasn't going to try to sing it to you. But the lyrics, it did pretty good to give you a sense of how it was going to rhyme. But I do wonder how it sounded as a song back in the day, back in the early 1900s. But just like the article said, it mentioned Hinton. It was based on actual wreck that happened near Hinton, and even it mentioned the Big Bend Tunnel, which is not far away. And those of you who know the Big Bend Tunnel probably are familiar with the legend of John Henry. And that'll be a future video that'll come out in a few days, because basically when you get to Hinton, I think in my previous videos you would have seen Route 3 that crossed over the river. Well, in future video that I do, I cross Route 3 and I go to Talcott, West Virginia, where the Big Bend Tunnel is, and I will be telling you all about the legend of John Henry and different things in that video. So that will be coming up in the near future, probably later this week. We're now coming to the end of my video. I will not make it all the way out River Road before this video shuts off. They call it River Road or New River Road. But we're still basically in Raleigh County. You can see the river right beside me on the left, and still, of course, near Hinton. I had mentioned in past videos about Hinton, West Virginia having an Amtrak service, and they still do. It's every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. They have service there. They're open for 2 hours in the morning, 9 to 11 a.m., and 2 hours in the evening, 5 to 7 p.m. So you can take the train to get you to a next stop on down the railroad tracks, or even on beyond. So if you're interested in doing something like that, Hinton is the best place for Southern West Virginia to pick up service on Amtrak. Well, this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure. And I hope you enjoyed this little video coming back out from Sandstone Falls, driving beside the new river up this river road. And I hope you enjoyed the little bit of information and history that I had to tell. Talk to you all later.